important moment of the year is upon us. At least if you're interested in innovation, Google Cloud Next is kicking off next week in Las Vegas. I will be there, of course, with some incredible innovators from Dataiku, Calibra, UiPath, Databricks, and many, many more. My friend Sanjeev Mohan and I will do it again. We'll be on the panel with John from Stream, featuring the wonders that are accomplished by the UPS data leaders. I hope you can join that if you're there in person. And then, of course, you know me, I love customer stories. And so I'm going to suggest that you attend sessions by our friends from Carrefour, L'Oreal, Mercado Libre, CME, Victoria's Secret, Alaska Airlines, BNY Mellon, at least. Lots and lots of sessions. But there's one very, very special session to me, Tuesday, 4:15 p.m., called Make Generative AI Work. My sources tell me that this session is one of the most popular ones, and I don't think it has anything to do with me. It really has a lot to do with who's on the panel and what they are going to share with you at that time. If you've been following the CarCast, you know that making Gen AI work is a super hot topic. Everybody wants to know how to best do it, how to the best set a budget for Gen AI. What type of team members should you hire? What types of use cases should you prioritize and how? And my leaders that are going to be on this panel, well, they have the answers to all of that. They work with some of the most innovative deployments across the globe every day. They're experienced, they're smart, and they're also a ton of fun. I can't wait for you to meet them in person. In fact, just to give you a sense of who they are and what we will talk about, I've invited them to join us on this CarCast. So let's start with our first panelist, Erin of Dataiku. You'll discover Erin is not just a mathlete, she's an athlete competing in swim runs. She's also a busy mom. You'll see in the back of her car, her kids are joining the CarCast. I think this is the first time that we're doing a CarCast with children, so I'm excited about that. Erin, thank you for jumping in. I know you're busy. Tell me something about you, and tell me the one thing you'd like the audience to ask you more about on Tuesday.
Thanks for having me, Bruno. Honored to be the inaugural CarCast Kids Edition. I lead global solutions engineering at Dataiku. We bring enterprise-grade development tools, pre-built use cases, and AI-powered assistance so everyone can do more with generative AI. And one thing I'd love to discuss with the audience, if you're starting to experiment with generative AI in the infrastructure and services, consider balancing two factors. One, IT control, and two, use case flexibility and speed for users. We see this time and time again, and I'll share with the examples of M&M and BMP. What we've learned is that to succeed, IT needs one centralized place to manage and provide access to LLMs, and users need the flexibility to experiment. Think about it as freedom within a framework. So if there's one thing I'd like the audience to ask more about on Tuesday, it is a concept of LLM mesh, or how you provide a common backbone for generative AI applications to provide IT the control they need and users the flexibility and speed they require.
That's awesome, Erin. I'm excited to have you on as part of this panel. Drive safe. I will see you next week. I know you're going to stick around until the end of this CarCast, but the panel is on Tuesday at 4:15 p.m. All right, so our next panelist has been at MongoDB for 11 years. He worked at Google prior to that, studied physics in Berkeley, but today he's not calling in from his car. He's calling from his office in New York. So Andrew, thank you so much for taking a minute to chat with us and introduce yourself to the audience. Same question as Erin. Tell me something about you and one thing that the audience should ask you more about on Tuesday.
Great to be here, Andrew Davidson with MongoDB. I was going to dial in from the taxi cab, but it just felt a little too challenging to get one in rush hour. You know, I'm a little bit more historic on my personal life. I'm from the Bay Area originally, and like all Bay Area natives, I've spent a lot of my time in the Indian subcontinent. And when I was living there, I really developed a taste for the incredible coconut chutney. And I've come to really appreciate making my own coconut chutney. And I've come to believe that the art of making a delicious chutney, which is a process, it's to learn, and each time you do it, you sort of do something different, and it gets better and better each time, and it just becomes delicious. I think there's a lot of parallels with the art of what modern software application development's about. And this is a really exciting moment in which data teams and software developers are able to build intelligent applications like never before and really deliver that incredibly delicious experience to their end users and their internal business processes. So I look forward to you asking me about that on Tuesday.
All right, on Tuesday at
4:15.
All right. Well, I'm going to keep this moving, and I'm very excited about these intelligent applications, the data products that we'll talk about. The third panelist, he also used to work at MongoDB, actually. He left 9 years ago. He is now the CTO of Confluent, and that's very impressive. But what's even more impressive, I think, is the ability to come up with original titles for himself. He was once the head fried chef at McDonald's for 2 months or so, I believe, early in his career. And now at Confluent, he is a self-proclaimed intergalactic field CTO. I'm sure we'll find out more about that next week on Tuesday when we talk. Will, thank you for taking the time. Same question as earlier. Tell me something about you and the one thing that the audience should ask you more about on Tuesday.
Being a non-terrestrial field CTO is very lonely. It's all darkness and specks of light. So in high school, when flannel shirts and grunge was a thing, that's what may have been 1992. I actually built a functional neural network-based natural language processor for the science fair. And it had a pretty good run in terms of placements, but none of the judges knew what the hell I was talking about. So I decided there's no money in machine learning, and my future was in French fries. And that's why I also studied the same useless major that Andrew did. And so what the audience should ask me, I get staying on theme. I'd ask me about how I worked with a company to take data from a mainframe and use it with GenAI. It sort of felt like, flipping around international dateline or something. It was so legacy that it became cutting edge.
And that's on Tuesday at 4:15. I can't wait to hear about that. I'm sorry you feel so lonely, but hopefully make you feel less lonely on Tuesday. All right, and the last guest is Chris. Now, Chris and I share a haircut, at least you'll notice here. He's the global field CTO at Databricks. Prior to Databricks, he ran software engineering at Capital One, drove the enterprise data transformation initiative there. Nearly 1,000 associates and contractors, a budget $120 million. Lots and lots of experience. Chris also was a pilot. I don't think he's calling in from his plane. I think you're calling in from a car dealership, Chris. So same question here. You're on brand, so that's good. Same question. Tell me something about you and the one thing that the audience should ask you more about.
I couldn't be in a vehicle like most of you, and found the next best thing, which is a little store in a mall as I'm between meetings. But so similar to Will's story, flannel shirts and programming in high school, I observed that we had paper ballots for electing our student government officials. I was wanting to run for school president my year, so as part of the computer club, I wrote a application for people to vote electronically, and shockingly, I won the election. I feel it wasn't rigged. It was fair and square. At least that's the story I'm telling. And so you fast forward over the last 30 years and different roles get insights out of data. And so I'd be remiss if I didn't say, as the field CTO for Databricks, at least what is now the #1 trending and downloaded open LLM on Face. And so it's called DBRX, and we're proud of it. We trained it for $10 million to be able to compete with some of the best proprietary models that are out there. So check it out if you haven't. And I think this would be great to talk about, the opportunities and the risks associated in the LLM space, and what organizations are doing and how they leverage platform to their own LLMs using their own data in a way that doesn't pass information over to proprietary systems.
That's outstanding. Well, thank Chris. I will see you on Tuesday at 4 p.m.
See you on Tuesday at 4:15.
4:15. Thank you for correcting me. All right. So as you can see here, it's not just an instructive panel, but it's a fun panel. These are professionals, tremendous experience. They've prepared great best practices and stories for you. You're going to want to know them. You're going to want to follow them. So if you can join in person, remember Tuesday, 4:15. And if you can't, just follow the tags on this post. Follow these leaders, contact them, because either way, we want to hear from you. So go ahead, comment down here. Let us know what are your questions. We'll try to tackle them throughout the session. And if you like this CarCast, of course, be sure to subscribe. We can't wait to meet all of you on Tuesday at 4:15.
See you at 4:15.